How's it going, everybody?
Hey,
Hey,
how
hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the chat, everybody, where the dialogue is unscripted, unfiltered, and uncut. We're here for another episode of season three, episode four, and we're here to talk about the mess that was last week. But first, I think we could start with just a simple question. What would you, if you could go on a dream vacation, what would you do if money wasn't a factor?
that's a
Hmm.
good question. Yeah, hold on while we process that. We're gonna let some of our viewers get in, and once you get in, hello. Once you get in, let us know again where you are tuning in from, and if this is your first time here, just let us know this is your first time here. Let us know how you've been enjoying the show so far. This is our fourth
Fourth episode.
Fourth episode.
fourth episode. So let us know how you've been enjoying it. Hello. I always want to say her name is Kia. But
Kia.
Kia, it looks like Kia to me.
okay. All right, so I'm like getting messages everywhere. Okay, so welcome Kia, welcome AJ, welcome. Come on in, make sure you hit share and
Yeah, let's get as many people in here as possible.
As many as we can. Like and share, everyone. Like and share.
yeah. All right. So while that's going on, hey Kiana, thanks for being here. All right. So if money was not was not a problem, where would I want to what would my ideal vacation be? Huh.
Let's hear it, Shanika. Where are you gonna go?
Well,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
the first part.
It's not even actually where I would go. It's actually what I would do. I
Right.
would actually gather up my mom and her siblings, and I would take them and their spouses or whatever, and I would treat them somewhere and wherever they would want to go because I just think that they don't spend enough time together, and I just think that it's important that they get together and just family. I would pay for all of them to go somewhere. So yeah,
Chanel.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. I mean, because you know what? It's funny because some years ago, my husband was actually stationed in Jacksonville. We lived here, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take a 30-day vacation,
Ooh.
and people thought like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm going to take a 30-day vacation, and I did it. I went down to Jacksonville. I spent some time with him. We went to Orlando. Then we flew back here, got our daughter, and went back. And like for 30 days, I was just gone. And I think for me, it was just the fact that I said it and I did it, and I didn't
Yeah.
worry about anything.
Yeah. 30
So
days. You probably had a lot of R&R on those 30 days.
yes, I did. It was fun because it was like during Christmas time. So it was like it was like kind of during Christmas, and so it was good. It was good for me. It was like, yeah, it was good for
That's
me.
awesome.
So yeah, what about y'all? What would y'all do?
I always said I wanted to go to Abu Dhabi, but if I had endless amounts of money, I would probably like reserve a private island somewhere exotic
Mm,
and
okay.
just be spoiled and pampered and all the above.
Right, right, right. I
Right.
can
Everything.
I can totally get that.
I'm right there with you. I definitely would be on an island somewhere on the beach. And I mean, it would look like that Corona commercial, you know? I think I've had enough. I've done all kinds of stuff, and I'm all like, something about being on that beach, just looking out over the water,
Mhm.
and can't beat that feeling, honestly.
I'm telling you, with nothing but the sound of the waves and the wind,
Yeah,
dream vacation.
that's amazing. And it was, and I think too because I haven't really like we went to the Bahamas and like 6 months after I had my daughter, and I think that I was really in a postpartum state, and I would like to redo that all over. I would just like to redo that because I just don't think it was like, and I had to leave my daughter behind. She was only 6 months, and I was like a fresh mom. It was just weird, and I was just like, oh,
Yeah,
so
she didn't really enjoy herself with your baby being
yeah,
sorry.
no, and I just would like to just redo that, and I just want to go, like, I just go maybe, and just not have to worry about. And I don't want to worry about anything. I don't want to worry about anything.
Right.
Well, you got me thinking about this 30-day thing. I'm like, okay, I might need to send me a 30-day getaway.
How about
it was just amazing. Like, it was amazing. We really had a good time. And even the one time, and I know it wasn't like much, but it was for us. Like, even the one time for Christmas, like I think it was like two Christmases ago, we were like, we're not putting up a tree. We're not doing anything. And we had Christmas in Disney. We went to Disney and we had Christmas there. And to me, it doesn't really have to be extravagant. It's just a matter of saying that that's what we were going to do. And that's what we did. And we took time for our family and we went to Disney and we had a good time. And it was just like during Christmas, because I wanted to see, I really just wanted to go for the parade. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, Christmas time in Disney, that was the best for me. So, but yeah, Shelly, yes, Dubai. My husband has gone there and he said it's absolutely beautiful. So I would definitely love to venture there to Dubai. That would be amazing. Anybody else? What would your dream vacation be if money wasn't a problem for you and you could just have all the amenities and everything that you needed? Like, where would you go? All right, go ahead. Put that down in there.
In the comments.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. But while people are commenting on that, let's see. I was kind of like scrolling through Facebook, and once again, there's a new challenge out.
What challenge is it, Shanika?
Okay, you were just scrolling. What did you come across?
And so there's, because every week I feel like there's always a challenge. There's always some sort of challenge out. Not too long ago, it was the Busset challenge or whatever, and so this week it was the silhouette challenge, and so it was just so many. Like, I came across so many different people doing the silhouette challenge, and the two that stood out to me is the young lady who did the silhouette challenge, and her boyfriend broke up with her. The silhouette challenge, and the other one that stood out to me was the guy, the bus driver. Did y'all see him? The bus driver.
What did he do?
He went, once he got everybody off the bus, he parked the bus, got naked, and did the silhouette challenge.
On the bus?
The bus.
In the depot?
And he did a whole flip on the bus. And so and so his immediate supervisor was like, take it down. And then it got up to the higher ups and they fired him. But at any rate, my question is, with all of these different challenges, and this is to everybody, because I just think that it's, I don't know, people make decisions to split up, and people make decisions to find reasons, I think, to just break up with somebody. So the young lady who did the silhouette challenge, and she said that she was naked, her and the one who her boyfriend broke up with her, he basically said that she was for the world and that she was for the streets, and that she never really did any type of silhouette getting undressed or whatever for him, and he just didn't like the fact that she went up there and did that. Now my question is, do you think that if you are choosing to participate in any of the Busset challenge, any of these challenges, do you think you should have your spouse or your partner involved, or do you think you should run it past them before doing it? Or do you even think it's appropriate to participate in any of those things at all?
Well, yeah, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm married, and I definitely, even if, I'm not planning on doing anything like that, But early on in our relationship, it was as simple as me posting a selfie. And I'm heavy on social media, and she's like, "Oh, who's that for?" You didn't even send that photo to me. And I'm like, "Oh, like I didn't really think about it like that." But after she kind of brought it up, I'm like, "Dang, you're right." Like, I'm not really trying to get attention from other women when I posted this selfie, but that's a good point. Like, if it's not for her, who is it for? And I just know now, like, if I'm going to do any challenges, especially a silhouette challenge for what they're asking the men to do on the silhouette challenge.
Oh, see,
I definitely would. My wife would have to be the one who was like, "We're doing this." We'd have to be doing it together. I couldn't imagine doing it by myself without asking her at least, or saying something to her.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, especially for women, we are held to a higher standard, whether it's right or wrong, whether people agree with it or not. And I agree. If you're going to do it, it's your right, but you may be looked at in a certain way. I mean, and if that's something that you're willing to accept, then oh well, but your significant other doesn't have to. I mean, and he chose to keep it moving.
Yeah, I think it was a little extreme for him to say that she's for the world and she's for the streets. I'm not necessarily sold on that whole term of she's for the streets, because I think that, she was just saying it was something that she had never done before, and whether she was trying to get attention or not get attention, it was still a silhouette. I mean, of course, obviously, the first starting out, it's her face, and then, then it goes into this whole silhouette thing. And, and so, but I have a problem with rules, and I have a problem with authority. And so, I've just never been one. I'm just always like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And, right. And I try to think about everybody. I really do as I'm older. But I do feel like that, I mean, I understand, I totally get it. I totally understand that, yes, that is the conversation that you should have with your significant other, but is it worth dumping somebody over? I'm not necessarily sure. I think that's a conversation. I think that
he probably wasn't too deep anyway,
Yeah, he was looking for an excuse.
Especially if it was her first time branching out, doing something like that. He probably wasn't too deep anyway.
Yeah, Summer says, I think they're thirst traps. I cannot imagine doing the busted challenge, silhouette challenge, etc., and posting it. I think you can still, because, okay, so I don't know if anybody saw the one that Tamron Hall did. Okay, so the one that Monica did and the one that Tamron Hall did. So then when Monica was getting ready to, not the silhouette, but the busted challenge. So when Monica was getting ready to do hers, when she was getting ready to drop down, when she dropped down, her son came up there and was like, "You somebody's mama. Why are you doing, like, why would you do the busted challenge?" And then Tamron Hall, she came, when she did hers, she was like, "Yes," and I forget her little baby's name. And she was like, "Yes, I'm his mama and I'm still doing it." And she did it. So I just think that I don't want to say classy and not classy, because everybody's definition of probably what classy is different. But I think that, people do things for different reasons, and people have more provocative ways of doing some things, and some people have more, okay, I'm just going to do it, and not necessarily I'm dressed in this sort of outfit or that sort of outfit. I'm just doing it in more of a, I don't want to say classy,
like a self-expressive kind of way, like showing right. Personal freedoms, maybe.
Yes. So I just think that it's choice. It's about choice on if that's what you choose to do and how you choose to do it. I think that's where the conversation starts to come in, and what people think about it, on what you're doing, what you have on, how you're doing it. But people express themselves, as you just said, Chanel, in different ways. So, so I think it's a personal preference on what people choose to do. And I don't necessarily think that the extreme of breaking up with somebody is really.
Well, looking at the comments, Fabian and Kia are kind of in agreement with each other in that, is it worth your relationship? And I guess you're saying, Shanika, is it that extreme to break up? But it looks like Fabian and Kia are saying, well, before it's even done, is it worth risking your relationship? Is doing the actual challenge that important?
And
Go ahead, Amir.
I think like what right here, this is where it comes in. Katrina here says that I've seen couples doing the challenges together, and that's where I said, like, you know, I'm not about to do the challenge unless my wife is like, oh yeah, the silhouette challenge, let's make it fun, let's have something, let's do it together. And I'd be down. And I mean, I think that's fine. Or like I said, if you bring it up and your significant other is like, oh yeah, go for it, just don't get naked, then you'd know what could make them upset. Because to me, it's just a dark filter. I mean, it's only so much you could do.
Right. And the funny thing about that is, yes, it is a dark filter. And number one, you don't have to get naked. It's not nowhere does it say you have to get naked. And number two, they're telling women, they're suggesting to YouTube or Facebook, one of them is suggesting not to do it because you can remove the filter and see, people will be able to see you naked if you got naked.
So why would they be naked though? You can put on a bodysuit that hugs shows your curves, and nobody would know the difference. But anyway, that's just what I
mean, even before they started trying to like change the tent and stuff to see what was behind the red filter, people were going like, man, like y'all realize that the app gets the full, like the uncut version and then transfers that. So like they were all making jokes, like I guess the people at TikTok behind the scenes are just like watching it like, what are these people doing? I mean, you know, if they're not creepy, I'm sure they were like disgusted.
Okay.
All right. What's your thought, Will? Hi, Will. Hey.
Yeah, hey, Will.
Hello. Sorry for my technical difficulties.
It's all right.
So we're talking about the
silhouette
challenge. Yeah, I have been trying to get my nerve up to do it, but baby, I sit in there.
It's too hot.
I tried to see what it would look like just by cutting the light off and seeing my shadow. I scared myself, so I said, no. Not yet. Maybe about 75 more pounds. If it's still out, I'll try it.
You know, it's funny because I was taking some pictures to go back to what Amir said. I was taking some pictures the other day, and I kind of like had my shirt off my shoulder, and Walter was saying, he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm taking a picture." He was like, "You need to pull your shirt up," and I was like, "You are not my daddy." I was like, "No child out is up in the Richmond area, sir." Like,
you know, I think it's fun to watch. You know, I've seen some that are really, 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 really risque. I've seen some couple ones that are like, you know, of course I like it and everything, but to each his own. I'm definitely not the one to judge. I'm probably one of the most liberal ones up here. So I said, you know, if you can do it. I've seen some ones that should have thought about it a couple times before they posted it.
See, but that's what I was saying. But anyway, that's what I was saying. I was like, you know, do what makes you happy, and everybody's not going to agree, and everybody, you know, and yes, if you're thinking about your relationship, absolutely. I mean, you know the boundaries within your relationship. You know what's going to upset somebody and what's not going to upset somebody. But you know, you got to know that. You got to know that within your relationship. So,
all right.
I just don't think they were thinking about trying to have fun, challenge themselves to do the challenge, and the backlash is what it is.
Right.
So was that you, Shanika?
Yeah, that was Shanika's question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I believe that's going on to me. So again,
I didn't. I'm sorry. No, Kiana, I didn't. Actually, what I did was I pulled it down a little bit further because he was sitting right there, and I was like,
"No, she did. She pulled it out quick."
Walter,
don't let Shanika fool you. Shanika pulled that up quick. She got somewhere and sat down.
He put some bass in his voice.
So
He's just so defiant.
What'd she say?
She said, "I'm so defiant."
She is. Against the establishment. That's Shanika. Okay, so about relationships. This is about people just think long-term people be in a relationship for maybe 25 years. So, you know, we all know that people change over years, and sometimes they tend to drift apart or grow apart. And it's really not about people falling out of love. Just sometimes people, drift in different ways. And though some people don't like to acknowledge it, the two of them don't quite fit as well as they used to do. So here's an example. A man and woman meet in high school. They get married after. Both have a career in the military, raise kids all in college, and both got good paying jobs. Now, one is happy just making a living, getting by, interacting with the kids, and actually being a homebody. While the other one went and got advanced degrees, they started a business, they're very politically active, wants to travel the world, and they want to be a power couple. This person feels that they have outgrown and deserve better than the other one because the other person isn't interested in changing or growing. Is it wrong for that person to leave and find someone compatible to what they want after 25 years of marriage and raising kids?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think no matter how old you are, some people anyway, continue to evolve and grow. And I wouldn't put a time frame on it, but I could not put your happiness. So, I mean, I don't think stay in a relationship, no matter how long I've been in it, if I'm not happy and fulfilled.
Okay.
We have to have something in common. We have to have grown together in some kind of way.
Okay.
Well, I definitely agree. I mean, I think people do change. And I think it's fair to let somebody, if they're like, you're not the one for me, I thought so. I think it's okay to just move on and to find somebody that does. And you may not even find nobody else, but it's the fact that you're not trying to just stay with someone when you know your heart's not in it, especially if the kids are raised. I mean, I think a lot of people, you feel that responsibility and not splitting up the household. But once the kids are out of the house, I mean, if you're not really in it, I can't see a reason to stay in it.
Okay. What about when, a person, you guys get together, you're on the same wavelength for years and years, but then this other person, whether sometimes they get saved, sometimes, whatever happens, they go to a seminar or whatever, and everything changes. They change. That wasn't the vision that you guys talked about. That wasn't what you guys dreamed about once you got married, and this other person changed. Is it right for you to all of a sudden just up and leave, what you guys built? You guys got 25 years under you. You got kids, a house. What do you think, Shanika? I see that hand up on your chin.
She ready to say something.
All uncomfortable, right?
You ready?
Okay, so this is coming from a person who has been married for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband and I are very different. He is, and I'm being very, very transparent. His mindset is really military. That's what his focus is. Sometimes I don't always feel like I'm at the top of his list, and I don't like it. But I also know that even though we were two that became one, I still make up that two. And I can't put my all and all into him. I have to have my own things going. And although I know this is aside from what you asked, what the question is, but I still feel like it's just a lot of different variables to me. It's just different variables, because what I really think is, it's just like saying him being in the military, he gets sick while he was in the military, and then because we're not our relationship is not on point, I leave. And I think about stuff like that. It's just like, okay, like he's been torn down through the military, and it's like I just up and leave because maybe his body is not as fit as it was, or maybe her body is not as fit as it was, or maybe the knees are torn down, the body is hurt, the body has gone through all of this stuff. Like, do you leave? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think that people will. I think that people can be selfish. I think that people will look at their own selfish needs and leave. And then there's a flip side of it. Is it being selfish? Is it being selfish that you want me to stay even though you're not willing to change? Like, so I just think there's so many variables. I'm sorry, I didn't need an answer.
I mean, you took it there, but no, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah. So okay, well, I don't want to get into an interview, but okay, I can feel where you're coming from because I have questions on that. But that's what I'll say that for another.
You can ask your questions because I want without because I mean these are questions that have come in my head because it hasn't always been glorious. It hasn't. I would be lying to you to tell you that my marriage to my husband has always been glorious. It hasn't. It's been 25 years and it has definitely been work put into it. I feel like, if you ask me, we've had this conversation very openly. Do I believe in being in love? No, I don't. I think that's a statement that somebody made up and then people just ran with it. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you are in love with somebody. I feel like there's a deep love. I feel like it's quick to be like, I don't like you. I don't like your ass. Like, I mean, it's like, I think you can say that. So I don't know. It's just hard for me. I don't understand that. And it took me a while to even understand the idea of love, just having the action of love and what that really means. So what's your question?
So no, I was just saying to what you were saying. I was watching it's a show, I think it was on BET when they were interviewing like the Black Hollywood couples, Black Love, is it something like that? Whatever. One of the guys said something that really resonated to me. He was talking about something like who was that? Kia was saying, like a lot of people equate loyalty to length of time. And he was just saying that we've been married for 40 years. Yeah, everybody always rejoices for, us being married for over 40 years. But he said, we fought for each year. And I was like, that really makes sense. And being out, I'm only over a year. But even going through a year, getting to a year, we fought for that year, which lets me know, that we were in it. We were willing to go through downs, through those turmoils, through those disagreements, through those arguments, knock down, screaming matches. But we fought for it to get to that 1 year. So I commend you for fighting for each one of those years to get to 25, because a lot of people don't do it.
Right. And when I look at him, like when I look at him, I don't necessarily, okay, and I know this may sound crazy, but I don't necessarily look at him like he's my husband because I feel like he's my friend. Like he is my friend. Like he
should be. Yeah.
That's my friend. Like, and even though we're married and we share a child and we share household responsibilities and we share all of this stuff, like that's he's my friend. Like, I mean, and I've told you this story, all the things that he did for me, even when we were dating, like, him leaving his job, coming to my job. Like, who does that? Cleaning up all my stuff on my job. Like,
Shanika, how would you approach it if, like, because I'm listening to the question that Will has, like, how would you approach it if, like, all of your likes and passions were totally different after 25 years? What would you do?
They are. He does not, because it's almost like a compromise. No, do I like, okay, so my husband, so he has a really nice position in the Navy. Let me say that. Okay. So when we go, do I like having to sit there at the table with the big wig people? No, because I want to be out on the floor with everybody else dancing and shaking a tail feather. Oh, no, I'm not. But that is not the role that I'm playing that's not the role that I take on. So I don't like having to do that, but that's it. That's what his life is. And that's the role that I have to play. And when he goes to my events and hair, no, it ain't. He don't understand half of that stuff. He could care less about it. But I think it's the compromise that you make. Yes, we're on totally different. I love crafting. He could care less. He could care less about it. But he will support me in everything. If I wanted a Cricut, a Glowforge, and 5 other things, you know what that man gonna do? He's gonna be like, okay, well, where can I get it? Who can I talk to go get it? Okay, look, can you at least straighten up this room with all this stuff you going on? And he's always been that way. And do I understand everything about his military life? No, I don't. I don't. And there's sometimes that I want him for me, but we are totally different. We are totally different people. We are totally different people. But you know, like as my mama said, you make it work. You figure it out. You figure like he cleans the kitchen, always has. When I first got married, he would go behind me and clean the kitchen. I called my mom and I was like, I don't understand. Like he think I can't clean. I know how to clean. I've been cleaning for a long time. Mama said, well, does it bother you when he cleans the kitchen? I said, no. She said, to let him clean it. You know who cleans the kitchen 25?
That's right.
He cleans the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't worth us fighting about. It wasn't. It was like pick your battles. That wasn't one of them.
Right.
That was one of them.
The whole point of the question was really getting down to whether you feel like you can outgrow somebody in a relationship to the point where you would leave. Justin and I had a little brief conversation before the show started, and we both agreed that, you know, there should be a conversation. Like in this situation where, you know, he was content. They both had served. I guess maybe he had retired. You know, he was enjoying the fruits of his labor at home with the kids, but she was the ambitious spirit, you know. Mm-hmm. And if that was an issue for her that he wasn't being involved, I don't know, I guess hypothetically, or, you know, maybe she didn't have that conversation with him. Maybe she did. Right. And if she did have that conversation and he said, well, that's not me, then perhaps that could be a deal breaker. But I think we both agree that there at least needs to be a conversation to let you know, this is how I'm feeling. Yeah.
I think definitely on that part, it's really just, I mean, I think it's not necessarily wrong to leave, but it is wrong to leave if it's just all of a sudden no conversation.
Yeah.
But if there's a conversation, I think that's like, you know, I think generally after the conversation, they'll probably realize that they're leaving for they're leaving for probably not that good of a reason. Because I mean, we're all different people. My wife is my best friend, but like if she did everything I did, I think it'd be just as bad, right? Mm-hmm. You know, just every single thing, you know, just maybe, you know, I think people do need some kind of space and to feel like they have their own thing that they do.
Like I would want him to do all the stuff that I did. Like I've taught my daughter to do a lot of the things, but she still has no interest, but she knows how. He knows he has an idea of some of the stuff that I do and he appreciates it, but it's not his thing. Like that's not his, like NASCAR, that's his thing, golfing. Like I don't like that. And and he already knows, don't ask me to go to that. Like I'm not going. But I mean, you know, but I do think it's a conversation. And I do think that if two people make the decision to, okay, like we have really outgrown each other, let this just be what it is, then so be it. But then, you know, also that goes back to Will, you and I had this conversation too. And people kind of responded to it and was like, what, an evaluation? Yes, I think that there should be an evaluation period in your relationship or in your marriage. I think you should do it every quarter. I think you should do it every 2 months, every month, whatever you need to do, because I feel like if you on your job and you get an evaluation, why can't you do an evaluation in your marriage to see what's happening? Like, do you still like me? Like, do you like
regular check-ins? We have regular check-ins.
Yes. So
over food usually.
Well, people settle apart. I mean, you got a lot of couples that go to therapy and they make it through. But Shanika, you have some valid points. You have me thinking over here about my initial response.
Your situation. Go ahead. All right, Shanika, I didn't notice that blonde hair. Go ahead, Blondie.
I told her she was with it.
Okay.
That's the supermodel. Go ahead.
A little bit after Kamala Harris, VP Kamala Harris was elected to the position, she had put out a tweet that the Black woman is the most disrespected person in America. Now, I don't know if you remember or have followed Malcolm X, but he mentioned that in his speech in 1962. So my question is, do you believe that? Do you believe that the Black woman is the most disrespected, unappreciated figure in America? And what are your thoughts?
The most, that's kind of extreme. Well, all these Black women looked at me, I'm like,
oh God.
I mean, I've never been one, so me looking at y'all, I wouldn't say y'all the most disrespected women.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't say y'all are the most disrespected women in America.
Yeah. Why you feel that way?
Why would I feel that way? Damn, I was hoping you would ask me that.
You need a moment to think about it.
I need a little bit more than a moment. Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
Now, okay, let's see. Trina says sometimes we don't get the respect we deserve. I can agree. I can agree.
But some black men don't.
Right. You know what? It's funny. Everybody.
You're undervalued. Yes, I am.
Okay, so and you know what's funny is because I think that question, I think that it depends on who you're asking. I think it really depends on what woman you're asking, because just
there
like
you go, Kia.
Now keep in mind, the woman who had just been elected to the highest office, well, the second highest office in America, said that.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Now, and depending on, because it would she say it like in her face? Okay, and I'm saying this because remember when what's Carter, Lil Wayne, when somebody asked him, how he felt about racism and all that, and he was like, nobody has ever, I don't feel any kind of way about it. It's not affecting me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know that.
So it depends on who you ask. Now, to me, have I ever had any like majorly disrespectful thing happen to me? I can't say that I have. But when I look around, and it's like, okay, yes, this happened. This was Sandra Bland, okay, that whole situation. A couple of young ladies, when the police busted in her house and killed her in front of her son. Okay, yes. When I look at Breonna Taylor, yes, I mean, but there's many different.
That's not your experience, right?
Right. So it depends on who you're asking, and what their lifestyle was like.
Yeah, that for me,
that's a good point.
Right. Like, to me, I think it's really just like what Fabian, my wife, is saying there. It's really that combination. Because, I mean, the sexism, I mean, any woman of any race has probably experienced something horrible, in the hands of men or other women, be it white men and their obsession with Asian women. Whatever that had, like, they talk about how horrible that feels, or, they have it on TV. But then if you compound it with the black skin and the fact that a lot of people see black women as too masculine, regardless of what they're doing, to the point where it's okay to just have a black man play a black woman on TV, even if they have a black actress available, because they don't see y'all as, they see you as aggressive, manly. It's not attractive. And then when you are attractive, you're too attractive. And you're only using that attractiveness to take advantage of those poor men who just can't control themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a double-edged sword because of that intersection between race and sex.
Yeah. Let's see what the comments say.
Oh, yeah. What are these people saying?
Yeah.
Leah says that Caucasian women were disrespected, but black women were disrespected even more. So as a woman, we are pretty much what she's saying. We have an inferiority to men, generally, not, I don't feel that way, and as a black woman, we suffer from more of that. And that was from Leah.
I think that when you're looking, like, even on social media and just different, depending on who you're following, who you're associated with, things like that. I think that you can get the idea that black women are the most disrespected. When I am around certain people, which like for instance, I'm a Toastmaster. I'm the only black female in my Toastmasters group. The only one. Actually, the only black person in my Toastmasters group. Okay. When I'm around them, I don't feel like they're ever, like, I don't feel disrespected. I feel like I'm there for a reason. I'm getting what I need. And I know that was just one generalization or one situation, but I've seen it. I've seen it happen to women. I feel like there are times when we are totally disrespected and things have been said about black women, and that I feel like sometimes other races don't get. Mm-hmm. But I think that, again, depending on the situation, anybody at any point can get it. I mean, that's just kind of what I feel.
Now, if y'all are okay, this actually has something to do with the next thing that I want to talk about. And that's Married at First Sight, where we hit a little bit. I mean, we get on live television examples of Black women being the most disrespected group. So really, I mean, if you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about, but we don't really have to get into that too much. My question is, would you be able to go through the process of being married at first sight? And to give you a background, these people sign up for the program, the experts match them to a perfect soulmate, and then they don't meet each other until the day of the wedding. And so once they walk in and they are legally married, as soon as they see each other, they go through the whole process there. Could you do it? How would your family react?
No.
There's no way.
My mom was like, this is who? No, I absolutely couldn't do that. I couldn't even go on that show. I'm not even good with surprises, so I know I couldn't even do it. Nope.
I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it, Chanel?
I would not do it. I'm a slow roller. I move at a snail. I'm a slow roller. People leave me alone before they get tired. Oh. There's no way that I could step up and marry somebody the first day. I couldn't do it. I just could not do it.
No.
But the show is interesting. I mean, it's entertaining. I watch it from time to time, but I couldn't do it. And I saw the season. I don't know if you've been following Amir through the quarantining, where they can't even really go a lot of places.
Right, they have to quarantine before they could even go through and actually meet the person. So even if they wanted to get a little bit of that angst out of being single, now they're stuck in the house, and now they have to be married to somebody and be stuck with them without knowing them.
No, I wonder what the success rate is of those people who do that. I would be surprised if any of them can survive it. You never met them? You ain't test drove, nothing. You don't know how. Oh God, no.
I mean, me personally, I couldn't even imagine. I'm too picky, and I could have a conniption fit. I couldn't even imagine going on a blind date. I'm happy I'm married now, but if
you've never been on a blind date.
I've never even been on a blind date. And my friend, I just would like, oh, Mir, come out with this date with me. She's gonna bring her cousin. I'd be like, I can't even do that. I have an anxiety attack. Like, what if I sit down and I'm like, man, maybe that speaks more on my friends than on the women, though, honestly.
Amir said, you have to think about that. Okay. I get it.
If I had to walk up to a altar and propose and marry somebody and I'd never met them before
and kiss them,
it'd be. I guess you don't have to kiss them, but I mean, maybe it will work out though. Maybe, right? Shanika, what do you think?
I think the hell a lot of people get married and still don't know who the hell they married to.
They have a choice, right?
So you made
at least they've seen them, though.
Huh?
I said at least they've seen them.
I mean,
so you don't even see you don't see these people at all.
At all.
So they can be ugly.
Not even a picture.
I mean, I was saying, people get married. I mean, getting married, you think they, this person, and they got and then be a whole lot of shit with them. Like, don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my mom's watching this right now, and I do wonder how she would have reacted. I would have come in there like, handshake. Hey, mom.
Let me ask my mama. How would you feel if one of your children just met somebody at the altar and like, this is it? This is it.
Leah brought up like a good point. Arranged marriages.
Yeah.
That's what.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, Amir.
I think with arranged marriages, the difference for that culture, at least from how I understand it, is that the families have known each other, and you may have met them when you're a child. So even if it's a little jarring for people like us. I've seen some people who I know have had arranged marriages,
but they know who they are though. Like they know who they are. They've seen them.
Right.
They've grown up with them.
How are they doing it on Bridgerton? Did anybody see that?
Yeah, Bridgerton, the whole courtship thing,
and hand picking them and all that. Now that was cute.
Right. Well, I personally don't think that none of them want to do it, and they just do it for the money. I mean, I just think that they do it for whatever kind of exposure they're going to get or whatever kickback they get. I can't fathom anybody just really wanting to do that if there wasn't a kickback.
I thought, well, listen, I've seen some of my friends who have boys, or like some people I've met that have boys, and they're just like sweet, nice. Like I know their parents and they're raising them well. In my mind, I'm like, I wish it was arranged marriages because my daughter would be like, yes, because I know like he comes from a good family. He has some morals and some values. He gonna do right by you. Like, I sometimes I wish that was the case because a couple of guys that she.
Well, I see your point because when people when they arrange marriages, they make sure that people are equally yoked, like they're.
Right.
Right.
I would not agree to that.
Yeah. And so with this season right now, what's going on is one of the black women, the man is saying he's not attracted to her, but in the bedroom, he's not really following that philosophy. Apparently, he's been having some relations with her, and she's confused. We come up to the altar. You agree to marry me. He's over there looking at her sideways. This isn't my type. And, you can't help but wonder, is it because she's a dark-skinned black woman? He hasn't said it, but we all kind of read between the lines when that happens.
So what is he? He's black?
Yeah, he's black. Yeah, he's, I don't know. I'd say medium.
And she is too?
Yeah. Yeah, she's just darker than, she's darker than he is. Everyone seems to agree that she's a beautiful woman. And then he's gonna consummate the marriage, It's first night, and then apparently the morning after they had sex, and then right after that he just said he breaks down crying, talk about, I just don't find you attractive.
and he like, told her just like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he tried to make it seem like, that's honorable. Like, at least I said something. I'm just trying to be honest. But she's like, what is going on here?
You can interview exes before you date someone.
Well,
Lee's question, do y'all ever wish you can interview exes before you date someone? Absolutely. Or at least get some type of treatment notes or something like that.
I don't understand.
Background information.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand.
Can you interview? Let's hypothetically, could you have interviewed Walter's ex before you dated him?
Oh, that shit is not valid. I don't want to hear shit she got.
No, I could see that. That would drive me crazy. I mean, especially the way some people talk about their exes. You can only assume that the ex is saying the same thing, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, but some of that information would be useful. She doesn't even wash her drawers. Like, dang, for real? Yeah, you sure? I thought I smelled something at dinner. Right?
I don't know. But all right, let's. Well, I don't know. It's I'm to each his own once again. But anyway, okay. Why didn't he tell her when he met her? Because he didn't sit right. All right, so
Lindsay watched us from YouTube. I think that's our first one. Thank you.
What happened?
Thanks for watching.
She's on YouTube.
Oh, awesome!
Definitely like and share.
Has anybody seen on Facebook, or it's probably now going viral, I think, the gentleman in this story comes out of Louisiana, of this Black officer, I think he was a deputy sheriff or officer, and that committed suicide. And he committed suicide after he did like a 19-20 minute rant, and I say rant, but he exposed the racism that happens in the police department, and a lot of other things he exposed. And then after that, he committed suicide. I was stunned. His name was Clyde Kerr III, and he had two sons. Excuse me, he had two sons. And I thought, well, I had many thoughts actually, but the headlines was, this is what he said. He said, "This is for me. This is it for me. I'm doing my part." And then it says, "Black cop denounces police brutality, racism before killing himself outside of sheriff's office." And like I said, he has two sons. And my question is, which I have several of them. My question is, was this the answer? Was this the answer? And in the article, people were saying that he was suffering from mental illness, and the other people were saying it wasn't mental illness, that it was mental frustration. And so that's my question. Was it like it? Was that the answer? Was that the answer for him? Because also they said that he felt like, I guess in a sense, that had he just gone in and quit his job, it wouldn't have had the same amount of effect that it's having, that he committed suicide after he gave his rant on. Like him taking his life was the sacrifice for his word getting on, for the word.
Okay.
That wasn't that. There probably was some type of mental illness, because there were a million other things that he could have done rather than take his life. I can't say that I've seen this as breaking news. I can't say that, somebody's knocked on my door to tell me about this. So I don't think, this was the thing that he had to do to bring attention to the fact that there's racism at his police department. I think there was definitely something else going on that clouded his judgment. I feel sorry for him and his family. Mm-hmm. But there were a million other things that he could have done to bring attention to what was going on at that police precinct.
Right.
I think agree with Will.
Sometimes. Oh, sorry, Chanel.
I agree with Will. He had something else going on mentally. He doesn't even know if that's going to have the impact. He didn't necessarily consider the children. Right. And I don't think that someone who doesn't have mental illness would go through that. Just to prove a point when they have children and family. I just think he had some mental illness, maybe some clinical depression, something else going on. And then to not be here and not know for sure that it's going to make an impact. They've been doing what he complained about for a while.
Right. And he's not around to fight for it, so they're going to probably keep doing it.
Say it again, Will.
I mean, he's not around to, like she was saying, to follow through with it.
Right.
Because he's no longer here.
Right.
I'm not sure if he explained to other people. He left videos, but there are a lot of videos that people will watch, and it'll be the topic for, a while until the next thing comes along.
Right.
For change, for lasting change, it definitely wasn't the move to make.
No, I don't think so either. And he talked a lot. He talked about the mental illness and how it's being handled amongst officers and counseling services. So he said all that. He mentioned all that in his post that he made. He was saying that it's a lot of people that are on the police department that have mental problems, but they're still serving, they're still doing all this, and it just really saddened me, because I'm thinking, if your rant was how Black people are being treated, and you have two Black sons, who's going to be left to teach?
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right, to teach them the things that you have a problem with. You're leaving that in the hands of who now? Like who's going to do that? Who's going to teach your sons? And one of them looks kind of young, but who's left? That's my thing. Like, I do think that there are definitely other ways that could have been handled, and it just really bothered me. It just really bothered me that he felt like that was his answer, that he used himself as a sacrifice, and basically by saying he did his part. And I'm like, you did your part? Like, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Absolutely not it.
I definitely think that.
All right, so we're gonna go on to this last topic, which I don't know if I didn't watch the Super Bowl. Who watched the Super Bowl? I know Amir, you watched it.
I mean, I watched some of it.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 14,000 people actually went to the event in Tampa, right? I believe it was in Tampa. But after 9/11, there was this big paradigm shift in how we live in America. One of the main things, going through the airport, you have to take your shoes off. Now they have all these things just to make sure that nothing like that happens again. And they're saying because people keep having these big events, and they're already labeling this as a possible super spreader of the COVID-19 virus. So they're saying that pretty much this may be our life going forward. We may have to deal with COVID-19. So just like we had to have things that are instituted that we've just become, they're normal to us now, like taking our shoes off and things like that. COVID-19, wearing the mask and all this just might be our new way of life because people just won't get with the fact that they can't do things like that. How does that make y'all feel hearing that this life as we knew it may not return? We already knew it wasn't going to be exactly like it, but the mask and all, people just loved ones coming down with COVID and dying may just become a regular part of life. How does that make you guys feel hearing that?
Disappointed, honestly. I mean, to me, I mean, once we heard about the virus, it was kind of, I think people treated it just like the other stuff, like SARS and MERS. Oh, it's just some kind of cold, and all those Asian people got it, so we're good. It never came over here last time, so we have nothing to worry about. But once they showed that it was here, that was it. That was the time for us to really take action. And I think it was disappointing to see how many people just said, I don't care, or just subscribe to conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. For me, after people I know who came down with it and thankfully survived, and the people I knew who passed, I'm just like, they must not have lost anyone, right? But it can't. I know people who have lost people and still think that we're overblowing it, and we can't. We shouldn't be like, we shouldn't follow the restrictions regardless.
Yeah, I agree with Amir. And being a nurse and a frontliner, I personally know for sure that this is going to be a way of life with the mask and everything for a while. But it really bothers my soul when I see people and they are not adhering to the guidelines. I know they work because I haven't had coronavirus yet. Mm-hmm. They work. I mean, and I know it started out last year with all these conspiracy theories about, whether it's real or not, or how it became, what it is, or who let it out, or if it was intentional or not. All of that stuff is irrelevant because the disease is real. And it kills people. And I think people need to really take it seriously, but know that this mass situation, I don't think it's going away anytime soon, especially now that there are new variants popping up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think it's going to be a way of life for a while.
That's saddening.
I agree with Kia. I agree with her. I think that it is I like it. What I like the fact that people, because when it first happened, my daughter was like, Mama, I just think this is exposing how nasty people really are. Which, yeah, because some people just didn't. It's like you wasn't buying Lysol and wipes and Clorox wipes and Lysol and all that stuff before. Like you wasn't buying none of that stuff. And now, now you got an excess amount of toilet paper in your house and an excess amount of wipes and an excess amount of all of this stuff. Like you wasn't buying that stuff before. And so when it all happened, Ace was like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like my mom always do this. When anybody cough in the house, she's spraying. Yes, because everybody can't get sick in here. We got to go to work. Your daddy got to go to work. Like we can't afford to do all that. But I'm glad. What I don't like though, what really does make me scared though, is I always get anxiety when I go in the store and I can't see people's faces because I'm like, what if something break out in here? And I can't see anybody. I don't know what this person looks like. Like, what if they go to rob this store? I'm in the 7-Eleven and somebody go to rob it. I don't know. Like that's what scares me. But outside of that, it is. That's what makes me nervous.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I get a lot of good things have come out of COVID, but it's nothing I want to stick around. I don't want to have to wear those masks all the time.
No.
I don't like having to do everything in excess. It's like somebody sneeze, like you out in public, you scared to sneeze.
Right.
You got allergies, people looking at you like you got COVID. I'm like, dude, no.
Right.
So yeah. I just wish people would be more cautious, be more thoughtful. I think those people who were at the Super Bowl and then out after the Super Bowl without masks, all those people are going back to different areas on planes, buses, trains, and automobiles, and they're carrying possibly the COVID with them.
Yeah.
But even at the end, me and Walter, at the end, when all the football players were hugging each other, and they didn't have on masks, and I'm like, y'all swapping sweat, y'all swapping, like y'all just swapping, like
Right.
But
and they're waiting for the backlash. They're waiting. They were calling it this is going to be a super spreader event.
Exactly.
So just give it a few weeks and see what the numbers say, and they're going to track it back.
That's it. All right. Well, I missed a few minutes of the show, but thank you for a good conversation as always to my co-host and everyone for tuning in, and from YouTube. I think that was our first from YouTube.
yeah,
Our Periscope people now to tune in and chime in. But as always, we will meet you back here next week, same place, same time, 7:00 next Monday for some more good juicy conversation. Where the conversations are always what, Shanika?
they're uncut, unfiltered, and unscripted. See y'all next week.
Yeah, next week, everybody.
Bye.